What is your opinion on the death penalty?
I don't want to undergo it.
No?
No.
Well, that's reasonable.
All right. No, I mean, I have a weird feeling I know where this is going.
Yeah,
But
you'd probably be right. Okay.
no pope ever expressed a problem with the death penalty until after Vatican II. So,
Wait, no pope has ever. What does that mean? Has ever expressed a problem with it? Did they expressly permit it?
oh yes, in the papal states, you betcha. But what happened was that you had several popes, especially John Paul II and Benedict XVI, who had witnessed its wholesale abuse by the Nazis and communists. And then I suppose more recent prelates noticing that the death penalty isn't popular amongst the people they look up to and want to cultivate. Well, you know, if it's trendy, it's good. So that would be an important thing for some of them. But that doesn't mean that it's true.
Well, Pope Francis, he really recently talked about the death penalty just maybe a week or so ago.
Who's he to judge?
Now, he's not judging. He says in itself, the death penalty in itself is contrary to the gospel.
Judgment.
No, the gospel is making the judgment.
No, he's judging. He's judging. Also, he says he has non-awareness. How he could read if he was that non-aware? Go ahead.
All right. He says, quote, in itself, the death penalty is, quote, in itself contrary to the gospel, because it is voluntarily decided to suppress a human life, which is always sacred in the eyes of the Creator, and of which God only in the final analysis is the true judge and guarantor. He also said it is, quote, an humane measure that humiliates human dignity in any way it is pursued.
Well, he knows all about humiliating human dignity, that's for sure. He's an expert at that. No, I mean, that contradicts what his predecessors have said at different times. So, he's entitled to his opinion.
What about when Jesus said, those who live by the sword die by the sword?
He was right. That's why there are no pacifists quite like soldiers.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I'm sorry to intrude reality into any issue, especially when the dear Holy Father is concerned. But, again, that's his personal opinion, and he's certainly entitled to it. It's a free universe.
So you feel that Catholic social teaching is pretty well fleshed out on this issue, or is it not well?
Yeah,
defined?
I mean, it's pretty well fleshed out. I mean, the death penalty is something that should be used sparingly. But without it lurking in the closet, you have no ultimate penalty. I mean, Pius IX was a great one for pardoning those sentenced to death. But you see, that in itself has a very useful thing. Why? Because if you're sentenced to death, and you're morally certain you're going to die, it's not like you're being taken care of for years on death row in California.
Mm-hmm.
And then along comes the Pope and he pardons you. That's really something. That's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But he can't pardon you if there's no death penalty, now can he? The other thing, of course, that comes to mind is the famous story about Louis XVI. The Vendée was the region in the west of France. And before the revolution, it was the death penalty for smuggling, especially salt.
Mm-hmm.
So, this one kid was the only son of a widow. He was captured, arrested for smuggling, and he was sentenced to die. His mother walked all the way to Versailles from the Vendée, confronted King Louis XVI in his garden, and told him, I'm a poor widow from the Vendée. My only son and my sole support is about to be executed for smuggling salt. So the king pardoned him.
Wow.
Well, a few years later, the French Revolution breaks out. And the Vendée rises up, and this now somewhat older kid becomes one of the leaders. And they asked him, why are you doing this? You know, when you were arrested by the royal troops before. And he said, I owe my life to my king. He has every right to claim it now.
Wow.
So, you know, I appreciate the Holy Father's right to agree with those who are fashionable. That's beautiful. But he's not in agreement with his predecessors on this point.